fish. You know they're big when you can't hardly handle them. I'm Keith Gallagher with Kayak Fishing Wisconsin, Old Town Pro Staff team member. I'm going to show you how I got my Predator PDL all set up for recreational fishing, tournament fishing, and fishing on Lake Michigan. Now for me, fishing out of the kayak, I'm going to have it rigged up one of three ways basically. I'm going to have it rigged up for just recreational fishing. I'm out there, you know, trying to catch a meal. The other way I'm going to have it set up is if I'm going to be fishing a tournament. I've been doing a few bass tournaments here lately, so that's another setup. And then my third one's going to be, of course, Lake Michigan fishing. Set up for trolling and having a large bag in the back to hold my fish for when we hopefully catch some. This is my recreational setup. I have fish locator, landing net because you never know. One rod holder I'll usually keep up front, excuse me. And then for rod holder storage, I keep it simple. It's a double-sized milk crate, PVC piping on the outside, which allows me to put all my tackle and stuff inside. When I'm out there fishing for a meal, I pretty much use this for, I put my cooler in here. I'll show you that in a sec. I'll put my cooler in here, and then I'll just keep a small assortment of tackle underneath. For me, having a landing net, I always prefer to have it right up front. You can see I had to kind of keep it locked in around the bow of the boat, the kayak there. And then I put a little keeper right here, just kind of keep it in place so it doesn't go side to side. And then this will sit right in between the pedals, and you know this really doesn't get caught up in anything. I put it in here, I dummy cord it because you don't want to lose your net. Things can happen. And then with this system, I haven't had it get wrapped up in the pedals or nothing, so it works out really well. Now when it comes to powering up your kayak, I've done just about everything everybody else has done. You know, I've had the battery installed myself, put switches in, ran the wires. But there's a lot of new products that have been coming out that are geared towards helping out simplify things, and one of them was Yak Power. I checked them out and I thought they had a really nice product, something I could use to kind of simplify things. The main thing is the switches. If you go out and you buy your own switches, you get waterproof ones. You know, they run anywhere from, you know, these good ones are like almost $20, $25. So, and by the time you get like 2, 3, or 4 of them, you're getting up there in price. Well, with the Yak Power, they already had like a 5-switch system that you could install and have in one central location, real quick and simple. And then it was only like $78 or something like that. I'll put a link down below to their product, but really nice. I thought it was just a great way to set the kayak up. I'll show you what I got going on with that. Yak Power also has a battery box that you can install, and it comes with all their connections that go to their switches and everything, so it's real simple to set up. The nice features about it is it seals up pretty well. You can install up to 3 batteries in there. There's an on and off switch on the battery box, so you're not pulling any power off anywhere. You have a USB connection also on there, so it's pretty nice. I mean, it's a little pricey, it coming in around $100. For me, could I have rigged it up myself? Yeah, I could have, but there's that balance between what's worth your time and all the effort and frustration of kind of getting it just right, and just buying a product that you feel is going to work well for you. So I chose the latter. You know, sometimes it's worth paying out a couple extra bucks to save yourself a little headache. So I'll show you how I got mine installed. On the Old Town Predators, there's a battery box container that kind of comes with it. I decided to just tie the relay switch from Yak Power on there. Kind of keeps it up and out of the way. And then my battery box that I got from Yak Power, I put upright in there. I actually have 2 batteries in there right now. You can see you have an on and off switch, so you can cut your power so you're not wasting it. And then there's a USB port, so if you want to power up your cameras, there's 2 USBs available there. And then this power cord here is the one that runs from your switches. Now for the actual switch itself, I wanted to keep it out of the way. I didn't want it to be anywhere that's going to get banged up or hit by anything. So I thought about it for a while, looked around, and I decided to go with a kind of inconspicuous location, which I can't see it when I'm sitting there, but I can feel it, and it's just underneath the seat over here. I'll show you the switch real quick here. So this is the switch for the Yak Power. We have a power button. You push that on, it lights up. It's kind of hard to see right now. Number one I have set up for my fish locator, bow lights, stern lights. I just kept it simple so I can run right in a row. Then I have 2 opens yet in case I want to set up any lighting. So having the hatch here was real easy to install. I just lift that out, made my cuts. I'll show you some pictures of that. And yeah, it was a real simple system, and it was just so much easier having one centralized switch, and it's completely out of the way. I don't have to worry about getting banged up. I thought about putting it in other locations, and for me, this one worked out the best. To run power to my fish locator, I use one of their plug-in systems down here. And I put it just below, right in this spot here. Real simple, easy to install. So I just have the connection here. Now, I do a lot of nighttime fishing and early mornings on Lake Michigan especially. So I run regular running lights on my kayak. The ones I've been using, and they've been working really good, they're all LED. I have some LED modules. I get those from osmium.com. I've been real happy with that company. Done really well supplying, and they stand behind their products. If you got a problem, you can send it back and they'll replace it. And then of course I have a 48-inch white light. It's LED, very bright, stands out really well. I have my flag on there. I got it wrapped up for now. But same thing, connected it down below. Okay, here's my LEDs. Red, green, and let me tell you, those things pop at night, so they stand out really well. And then my white light. Now I have my navigation, my red and green, and then my white running light wired separately. They're on 2 different switches because you're supposed to, if you are anchored somewhere, only supposed to have your white light on. Your red and green is for navigation if you're going somewhere. So if somebody just sees the white light, they should know that you're not going to get out of their way. So that's the reason for that. The anchor trolley is nice to have. I just have it to go halfway. I usually never put it all the way up to the front anyway, so I just go halfway. And on mine, I installed a couple pulleys here, and I just tied this one on. And then what I have for weight is it's about a 4-pound old cast iron window weight that I got from my sister's house. They're redoing the windows, and I thought, well, that's going to be a perfect anchor because it's clean. It doesn't hang up a ton of weeds and mud. It's not, you don't have to shake it off all the time. So I just painted that up. It's plenty heavy to hold you in place, but small enough not to be make a mess everywhere. And it just so happens that if you have this style anchor on this kayak, the Predator PDL, there is a awesome little track right here that'll sit in there and not flop around. That sucker locks right in, and how awesome is that? Because everybody knows, you got an anchor, you got it sitting on the left side, right side, it kind of makes you a little off balance. So this sits right in the middle, and it's not flopping around anywhere. So hey, sometimes you get lucky, and that thing works out great. So like I talked about, you want to keep everything simple. This is essentially my tournament setup. How I have my rod holders here, and the only difference between this and recreational basically is that I'm gonna put a cooler in here, and I'm usually not taking as much gear out with me. So I just put a cooler in here. I got ice in there, keep my fish nice and cold. The other thing I do in my kayak is the paddle placement. I was trying to figure out a good way to put the paddle on and have it not be in your way, and I decided to break it in half. Break it down in half. I used some bungee cords on here to keep it tight. Got it strapped in there, so bungee cord here, bungee cord here. And that way it's just kind of a half of paddle. It's not sticking all the way out here, not catching on some cattails if I'm trying to go through some cattails. It keeps it in pretty tight, so pretty happy with that setup. I haven't had any problems yet. So, and then the last thing, if I'm going to be doing tournaments, of course, you need your hog trough to weigh in your fish. Now, in other kayaks I've had, the pedal drives, there was like absolutely no room up front by your feet to have that set up anywhere. But with this one, I can actually put two boards in here. I can lay them in there just like that, and they're completely out of the way of my feet. So that works out awesome. Real happy about that, because everybody knows that things are kind of a pain to try to find a spot for, and works out good right here. Now here's a transformation from recreational tournament fishing to Lake Michigan fishing. Alright, so that's my setup for Lake Michigan. And what this does, this apparatus, and right now I got a big old 2x4 sticking in there basically, but I just need something solid enough for now. Might change that up in a while, but this is a little heavy. Gives me a way to stow some rods. I have basically 4 rod holders back here, so if I want to run a third line, that'll come off this one here. But I can have these rods in here without interfering with all my space down below. This is where all my fish are going to go inside the bag. I usually keep some ice in there to keep them nice and fresh. And then tackle, it's just going to go underneath my seat. Usually I don't have a ton of tackle. Gotten better on that. I used to bring lots and lots, and now I'm probably down to about 10 spoons that I really run often, and then a couple flasher flies. So a couple plugs maybe. But and then of course I would run 2 of these off to the side for my trolling rods. So, and that'd be my Lake Michigan setup. For all my rod holders, I've been using Scotty products, and they got so much versatility, different size, arms you can get for running stuff out longer or shorter. So I've been going with them. I've been real happy with them. All kinds of, I haven't had anything fail on them ever, and rock solid, when they're getting hit by salmon. Well, I think that about wraps it up for how I have my kayak all set up. This is what works out for me. Other people might have different setups, and that's cool, because it's all about individualizing your kayak setup for what you do. So for me, it's recreational, it's bass tournaments, fishing on Lake Michigan. So for me, this is what works out. Hey, if you like the video, get a thumbs up on there. I really appreciate it, and thanks for watching, guys.